Hello, everyone. Just give us a few more seconds here to get everybody into the Zoom call. Well, almost everybody is in now. Still somebody trying to get in, but I will monitor that and make sure we get everybody in. So good evening, everybody. I don't know where you all are, but I am in Hamilton and it was a fabulous day out today. Very happy about that. Sun was shining. It was quite warm. Starting to feel like summer's finally around the corner. For those who don't know me, I'm Teena Dowd, owner of Vacations for Canadians, and today we have a special guest, Marc-Antoine Kamel. He is our, let me just get this right, he's our regional sales and marketing manager from Norwegian Cruises. We have had such a great relationship with Norwegian Cruises for many, many years, and that will continue to be. Marc-Antoine is here today to talk to us hopefully about the new ships. We've got the PRIMA, the AQUA, the VIVA, all look so amazing. He's going to talk to us about how you can save money through our affinity groups. And also he's going to talk to you about how you can double your money when you book a cruise with Norwegian. So I'm going to pass it over to Marc-Antoine.
Thank you so much, Teena. Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. Live from Montreal, we had decent weather today. I don't think it was as nice.
Hi, sorry you lost the audio.
I did. That was my fault. Marc-Antoine, I muted you. Can you unmute yourself?
I think I'm unmuted.
I was trying to mute the group and it muted you too. I'm so sorry. Okay,
No
go
worries
ahead.
at all.
Do that again.
I'm not sure when it cut, but I was just saying that I'm thankful to be here. We're very lucky at NCL to be partners with Vacations for Canadians. And thanks to all of you for being here this evening and taking the time to learn more about not only Norwegian, but the exclusive deals at Vacations for Canadians. We got a lot of exciting stuff we're going to cover today. So like Teena said, and great summary, Teena, we're going to talk about what's new at NCL, the latest ships. We're going to talk destinations, affinity groups, promotions, how you can save time and money. So a lot of great stuff. So if you will allow me, I will start by sharing my screen and we'll get started. And yes, there will be a period question at the end as well. So feel free to maybe write down some of your questions and we'll take the time to answer them at the end. So by now, you should see my screen. So I'm not sure amongst you how many of you have cruised before, how many of you have cruised with Norwegian. I like to start by saying that for many years previously, there were a lot of myths and stereotypes around the cruise industry. And perhaps that is why a lot of people were hesitating before trying cruises. For example, in the past, and it's still the case among some products, and they're all great products, they're just different, and it's good that there is diversity in the industry. But cruising was often known for having a fixed schedule. We had to pick between 6 p.m. and 8 p.m. for dinner. We had to follow a strict dress code, to follow a schedule throughout the day, throughout the cruise. And also, we had to pay for almost everything on board. So a lot of the all-inclusive crowds was hesitating before trying cruising for that reason. And that is why in the early 2000s, Norwegian really wanted to revolutionize the industry. And we introduced what we call freestyle cruising. So for those who are not familiar, and I won't spend too much time on it for those who are maybe experts of NCL, but freestyle cruising, the big lines means that there is no fixed schedule. You are free to do what you want when you want. There's no strict dress code, also, and we like to say to some extent, because of course when you go to the dining room, they're going to tell you no jeans with holes in it or no tank tops, of course, just like at a resort. But you don't have to wear a tuxedo or a dress every single evening because cruising was known for that. And it is an all-inclusive cruise. So we're going to cover that in a couple seconds, but you're going to have access to all-inclusive package with Norwegian, so that you don't have to pay an expensive bill before debarking the ship. It truly is a resort at sea, whether it is in the atmosphere, in your freedom on board, and in the packages. When I talk about packages, those are the main four you're always going to have with your bookings with vacations for Canadians. So we're talking about unlimited open bar. And when I say unlimited open bar, it includes beverages up to $15 US. So we're far from the house brands. Sometimes it only includes local brands, or sometimes nothing at all, to be honest. But with NCL, we go all the way to $15. So that includes premium brands such as Patron, Grey Goose, a very long selection of wines by the glass, beers by the glass. And it's not just alcohol, by the way. Amongst you, if we have non-drinkers, it does include mocktails. It includes juices and sodas. So it's far more than just alcohol. And also you have the peace of mind of being on a true vacation, not having to take out your wallet every single time you order. We also have, we will always give you specialty dinners with your bookings. So we have complimentary restaurants, the buffet, the main dining rooms, we have grills throughout the ship, but we also have between 8 and 12 specialty restaurants throughout the fleet, depending on the size of the vessel you're on. And we like to give you between 1 to 3 specialty dinners for free, depending on the length of the cruise, depending on the cabin you have. You're always going to have between 1 and 3 specialty dinner. So that allows you to really try a 5-star dining experience. For example, our Cagney Steakhouse, our bistro French restaurant, teppanyaki, if you want to have your chef in front of you dancing and singing as he's cooking for you and your group. So tons of really special experiences with our specialty dinners, and you will get to try them for free on board our ships. We also give you $50 US, worth mentioning, especially nowadays, $50 US shore excursion credit per port per cabin. So if you're on a cruise that visits 6 or 7 ports, you're going to get 7 times $50 to enjoy on-shore excursions. So it's just an incentive for you to really immerse yourself in the local culture with local tour guides, depending on the excursion you pick. And also, we want you to be connected to your loved ones, to post that famous selfie on Facebook. So we do give you minutes of free Wi-Fi on your cruise as well. The dining experience. So if you've cruised with Norwegian, but a long time ago, I have to be honest with you, the product completely changed over the years. And that is in part because something happened a few years ago. Norwegian Cruise Line bought Oceania and Regent. And you might know them for being ultra luxurious. We're talking about very expensive cruise lines, and they're now part of the Norwegian Cruise Line Holdings family. So, of course, there's been a sharing of culture, a sharing of recipes, literally. We've brought the chefs of Oceania on board our ships to share their recipes. So if you haven't tried Norwegian in a few years, I gotta say the dining experience has really been elevated since then. And you will notice that, especially on the PRIMA, the VIVA, the AQUA, in the decor throughout the ship, they really have that luxurious vibe, but without sacrificing what made NCL famous, the great atmosphere on board as well, for people of all ages. But we'll get to that in a second. I do want to show you our fleet, and there is one ship missing in that slide, the AQUA, that is not out yet. It will be sailing as of March 2025. So I think time flies, and it will be sooner than later. But what I want to show you with that slide is that despite the fact that it's one brand, Norwegian Cruise Line, there are different experiences possible throughout the fleet. And I like to say that the two columns you see on the left, those are our mega ships. 2010 up until 2023 and counting, those are the mega ships. That's where you're going to find the water parks, the go-kart tracks. They're 20 decks vessels. I like to recommend them for first-time cruisers because you want to see what cruising is all about. Families traveling perhaps with kids because there's tons of activities, groups of friends traveling together. Whereas the small ships, which became my personal favorites, it's a different experience, but just as good. It's like comparing a mega resort to a nice, charming boutique hotel, in Barcelona, for example. So you get that personalized service. There's less passengers on board. It's not rare that your waiter, your bartender will remember your name, your favorite cocktail. So I like them for that. And the smaller ships also tend to go to the more exclusive destinations. For example, French Polynesia, Asia, South America. But that doesn't mean that the big ships don't go to spectacular places. I mean, they go to Norway, Alaska, of course, the Caribbean, Europe. So at the end of the day, usually your decision will come down to the destination first, and the ship is a secondary factor. But they are truly spectacular, and a lot of times you want to discover the new ships, and that's what we're going to cover in the presentation this evening. There are major news that was announced very recently. We announced at NCL that there's going to be 8 new ships coming. And I think that's great news for the industry, for travel in general. And also, we're going to have a new pier at Great Stirrup Cay. If you've never been to Great Stirrup Cay, it's our private island in the Bahamas. And it's a beautiful island, stunning beaches, tons of activities possible. There's food trucks available as well. And it's all inclusive because it's property of Norwegian Cruise Line. Your drink and dining packages are valid on the island as well. But the one inconvenience, to be honest with you, is that there was no pier. So you have to take a tender to go at shore. And, sometimes there can be lineups. And if the seas were rocky, it could cause an issue. But the great news is that we announced that there's going to be a pier that will be built for Great Stirrup Cay as soon as this summer. And it will be ready in early 2025. So that was great news for our cruises that visit Great Stirrup Cay in the Bahamas. Now, let's get on to very exciting things. We have the AQUA debuting in March 2025. And basically, we're going to take, it's part of the same class as the PRIMA and the VIVA. So we're going to take the best from the PRIMA and the VIVA, bring them to the AQUA. And of course, we're always improving. We're always listening to our guests. When you fill out these comment cards at the end of the cruise, they are truly read by our teams, our leadership teams as well. And that's how we keep improving and keep innovating. So there's going to be some new stuff on the AQUA, and not a lot of details are out yet because it's being constructed at this time. So I will show you what the PRIMA and the VIVA were all about. Brand new ships in 2022 and 2023 for the VIVA. And we're going to cover some of the new elements that are going to debut on the AQUA. So one very popular element about the PRIMA and the VIVA is that those two ships are just as big as the prior classes. The Breakaway, the Getaway, the Escape, the Bliss, the Joy, if you're familiar with them. However, we removed approximately 1,000 passengers from the PRIMA and the VIVA, giving you the best ratio of space per passenger in the entire industry. And to be completely transparent with you, those ships were designed during the pandemic, right? So it was an extremely popular concept, more popular than ever, giving you more space for you to enjoy, more outdoor spaces, which you're going to notice in the following pictures. So instead of having 4,000, 4,200 passengers, there's only about 300, 2,015 passengers on the PRIMA and the VIVA. So the cabins are bigger, more outdoor spaces, and a lot of new stuff, including the glass bridge you see on your screen. We added infinity pools as well that are stunning. You're going to see pictures in a few seconds. And the Indulge Food Hall. Indulge Food Hall is a brand new dining concept. So it's a bunch of food trucks and micro restaurants, we could call them. And instead of waiting in line like a buffet, you can sit at your table with a tablet and order from the different food trucks. And you're not tied to a single food truck or a single mini restaurant. You can order from as many as you want, and they are delivered to your table gradually within minutes. To be honest with you, it can take 2 to 3 minutes to get your first plate, and it's absolutely excellent. So it's a very good alternative to the buffet, to the main dining rooms. I really recommend trying it on the PRIMA and the VIVA for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, as you wish. It truly is a nice interactive experience. We also have the Ocean Boulevard. So if you've been on the prior classes with Norwegian, you might have known the waterfront. The waterfront is this extremely popular patio that goes around deck 8, filled with bars, lounges, restaurants, areas to simply relax or have a great conversation with family or friends. Now the Ocean Boulevard, we've more than doubled its size on the PRIMA and the VIVA, and it will make a comeback on the AQUA, by the way. So here's a visual to show you. The waterfront had a square footage of 19,500 square feet, and the Ocean Boulevard more than double, 44,000 square feet. So we're far away from the days where when you went outside on a cruise ship, it was a very narrow, hallway, so to say. Now it's the majority of the ship on deck 8, and there's tons to do. It will be your favorite place if you try out those ships. So you see the infinity pool on your screen. It's absolutely stunning, the kind of pictures you can take from there. And it surrounds deck 8, just like the waterfront did, with tons of bars, restaurants, terraces. You can dine outside, giving you the best sunset views as well. And at Norwegian, a bit like I told you at the beginning of the presentation, we don't impose styles, we don't impose schedules or dress codes on you. We truly have something for everybody. And that reflects in the dining experience as well. You can see on your screen, we have casual options, premium options, fine dining. For example, for the casual options, we have the local bar and grill that was previously known as O'Sheehan's. It's an Irish pub that's open 24/7, very popular in the late evenings after the Broadway shows, the theme parties, because it's an option available late at night. Los Lobos is our Mexican restaurant. Onda by Scarpetta, it's a wonderful Italian restaurant. So all of those are available outdoor for your dining on board the PRIMA and the VIVA. In terms of experiences, this is where I'm going to try to really impress you with the innovations that the PRIMA, VIVA, and AQUA came out with. So first of all, we have a 3-level go-kart track on those ships, on the PRIMA and the VIVA. Previously, we had 2-level go-kart tracks, and we added a 3rd level on the PRIMA and the VIVA. We're talking about 14 turns, 15 racers at a time, open day and night. It's quite an experience. Imagine cruising in Norway or in Alaska on other ships, or the Caribbean. It truly is something that's incredible. And yes, there is a $15 fee, and I'll tell you why. When we first introduced the go-kart tracks, it was completely free. And as you can imagine, there were sometimes groups that would spend the entire day there, not giving everyone a chance to try it. So the $15 fee is simply to ensure that there's a turnover so that everybody can try it. And between you and I, it's the kind of experience that you try once and you move on to other activities, because there are a lot to try on those ships. Speaking of activities, if you're courageous, this is one you might want to try out. It's a 10-level drop from deck 18 to deck 8. I like to say it's also an alternative to the elevator. And the advantage of that is that there's no stops on the way down. It's a one-way ticket, and you don't have to stop on every floor. But jokes aside, it's a dry slide. So the way it works is that we give you a sort of sleeping bag, and you can do it fully clothed. That's how people do it, because it's a dry slide. So you could literally leave from the pool deck and go to your dinner with a messed up haircut, perhaps, with that 10-level drop. So it's available on the PRIMA, VIVA, and AQUA, but it truly is quite an innovation that we came up with for those ships. This is a really cool section on the PRIMA and the VIVA, the stadium. So you can see on your screen, we have mini golf, but we also have ping pong. We have beer pong even. We can play darts and even pickleball, the fastest growing sport in the world right now, pickleball. So yes, you can practice it on the PRIMA and the VIVA. with wonderful sea views while you're at it. Galaxy Pavilion is a VR room, virtual reality, so you can feel like you're in another dimension when you wear that mask on your head. So another innovation on a lot of our newest ships. And of course, just like every ship has, we have the main pool with another slide, and there's always a pool bar with a TV screen. So a lot of times we're going to have theme parties as well, and we're going to talk about that a bit later in the presentation. So I would say that's really the heart of the ship on the outside, whereas you'll find the heart of the ship in the inside on deck 6, 7, and 8. And we're going to cover that in a bit as well. But there's tons to do, whether you're more of an inside person or outdoors person. You're going to find your activity on board Norwegian. There truly is something for everyone. We like to consider ourselves very multi-generational. So it's not rare that we will see grandparents traveling with the parents, with the grandkids, because there truly is something for everyone on Norwegian Cruise Line. Speaking of, we have Broadway shows every single night. Sometimes there's house production, sometimes it's big brand shows like Choir of Man, the Donna Summer Show. They are available every single evening, and they will really take your breath away. So it's after your dinner, you can head to the Broadway shows, and after that, that's where we're gonna find the theme parties and of course the nightclub and so on. This is something I want to show you, the Viva Theater, available on the Prima and the Viva. Believe it or not, the two pictures you see on the screen is the exact same room. So the way it works is that once the show finishes, the seats will retract on themselves into the wall, and it takes just a few minutes to happen. And yes, we do wait for the passengers to exit the seats. I felt the need to mention that. But jokes aside, so the seats will retract into the wall, and it becomes a Vegas-style nightclub. And what's really cool about that, because between you and I was never a clubbing person, so to say, but this is really a cool experience because the show ends and the cast will stick around to animate the party, and you have access to the Broadway lighting, the Broadway sound system, and because the show just ended, most of the people will stay in the venue, and it really gives a great atmosphere. So in previously on cruise ships, the nightclub was very hard to find. It was a small room, a small venue, whereas now it's really a very welcoming venue with great music and an amazing atmosphere. So that's another innovation on the Prima and the Viva. We, of course, have comedy shows as well. So sometimes they are for families. We also have adult comedy shows in our private comedy clubs. So those are always fun to attend and perhaps sit first row if you want to be part of the show. We have theme parties. So one thing that's very famous with NCL is the glow party. So make sure to bring your white clothes. It's the main event when it comes to the nightlife on board. It often takes place before a day at sea because we want to give you the opportunity to stay out late and perhaps sleep in the next morning. So we also have the sail away party on day one. Sometimes we'll have 80s parties, 90s parties. So a lot to do after 8 p.m. And that's another thing about NCL. If you're the type that wants options late at night, you will find them with NCL. We have just as many options to relax. And we're going to get to that in a second. Live music. You remember I was talking to you about deck 6, 7, and 8? One thing I love about NCL ships is that simply taking a walk on those decks in the indoor spaces, you will notice that every lounge you will encounter has a different story to tell. If you're more of a country person, you're going to find country music. You're more of a rock and roll person, we have country bars on board. We have piano bars, we have comedy bars. So there truly is something for everyone. It's not the kind of ships where there's only one venue late at night and everybody shows up there and it gets crowded. We have tons of options and they become destinations for you. So a lot of decisions to make, but I think that's a good problem to have. Of course, we have casinos on board. I'm not here to promote bad habits, but while you're on vacation, why not? And if you will show up at one of our casinos, I do wish you to win on board. It's a great way to make a vacation. And so on the AQUA, we're going to have a few innovations. We're not going to have the go-kart track. And between you and I, it did its time. There's a few ships that have it. So you can go on the Prima, you can go on the Viva, the Encore, the Bliss, and so on if you want to try it. We're replacing the go-kart track with this hybrid roller coaster slash water slide. And the good news is that this one will be completely free. So it's replacing the go-karts, and on top of that, it will be free because a water slide, something you do fairly quickly. So there doesn't tend to be a lot of traffic. So it's a new concept where half of it is going to be a water slide and the other half will be a roller coaster. So quite an exciting innovation for all ages, for the young at heart, and it will go around the funnel on top of that. So that will be new on the AQUA. There's also this glow court that will be an interactive sports court. And as you can see, the floor will be interactive. There's a screen. So depending on what you practice, it will be changing depending on the sport you're enjoying. And it might also, have festivities in there too, such as a mini nightclub as well. But as I said in the beginning of the presentation, there's not a lot of details out on the AQUA, but it will surely come out in the weeks to come. Now, we covered a lot of the exciting stuff on board, the entertainment, the activities. Norwegian is not only about that. There's tons of places to relax. And of course, the spa is an obvious one. This is a stunning picture of the spa on board the Prima. As you can see, it is absolutely gorgeous. The Joy, particularly the Norwegian Joy, was renovated in January of this year. It has a brand new thermal suites as well. And they always have floor-to-ceiling windows with the best views on the ocean, so you can really relax. You can either get a massage or use the thermal suites, get a special therapy, skin procedures, haircuts, whatever it is, we have it all in our spas. By Beach Club, so that's it comes with a cost, but it's for amongst you if you are looking for extra luxury, but you want to stay outdoors. This is an adult-only area with your own private jacuzzis. There's always a bar as well, and servers that will be there for you. And as you can see, there's long beds, ultra comfortable long beds, and it's a nice way to spoil yourself while you're on vacation. So we're going to talk about the Haven penthouses later, but this is like a mini Haven. It's your way to enjoy yourself during your day, and you can purchase an entire a pass for the entire cruise or day passes while you're on board. So you have both options, and it's completely optional. There's tons of spaces outdoors that are completely free where you can also relax, but this is a nice little extra that I wanted to show you. Ocean Boulevard, we spoke about it a few minutes ago. This is another great place to simply relax, read a book, have nice conversations. So that's another one, a personal favorite. The Observation Lounge. So imagine cruising in between the glaciers of Alaska, or even better, doing the fire and ice cruise. That's our famous cruise from Hawaii to Alaska. So imagine visiting the volcanoes and then the glaciers in one single cruise, and having venues like this one with floor-to-ceiling windows where you have the same view as the captain. So that's another personal favorite. And in the Observation Lounge, during the day, it's a very quiet place where you can simply enjoy a coffee, a cocktail. And in the evenings, there might be very relaxing music, a band, a pianist, a saxophone player. So it's not a loud club or a loud bar, so to say. It really is a nice venue if you want something more low-key, if you allow me the expression. So Observation Lounge is another personal favorite when it comes to relaxing on board our ships. To come back to the AQUA, our balcony cabins are bigger than ever, and it was the same concept with the Prima and the Viva. So a lot of times we have colleagues, family members that go on these ships and they think they got upgraded. So if you try one of these three ships, you will really notice that the staterooms are much bigger, especially the bathrooms. I have to say, if you look at the pictures on your screen, we used to joke back in the days that when you were on a cruise, it was impossible to clean your back because the showers were so small. Well, now in the Prima, Viva, and AQUA, they are truly humongous. And as you can notice, the decor is very luxurious. So I was talking about the influence from Oceania, from Regent. We really see it on the Prima, Viva, and AQUA. The AQUA, we will keep it, and we will talk about destinations, but specific to the AQUA for now, we want to keep it in the warmth, in the hot temperatures for the entire year, because there are so many beautiful outdoor venues and we want you to enjoy them. For example, the Ocean Boulevard. So it will cruise to the Eastern Caribbean from Port Canaveral and also from Miami. So it will visit Puerto Plata, Tortola, St. Thomas, which is one of my favorites. If you've never been to Magens Bay, it is a stunning beach, one of the nicest in the world. Great Stirrup Cay, I mentioned it early in the presentation, our private island. So what's really cool is that, as I mentioned, your beverage package does work in Great Stirrup Cay, so you don't have to bring extra cash when you're on our private island. It will also go to Bermuda, and I do want to take a couple minutes to talk about Bermuda because it is often ignored and it is such a stunning destination. The best part of it is that our departures are from New York. So it's a very short round trip, road trip from Eastern Canada. You can easily spend a weekend in New York, and next thing you know, you find yourself in Bermuda. So a lot of times I have people asking me, Mark, is it not boring that we only visit one destination on this cruise? Because we spent 3 days in Bermuda. It's a 7-night cruise, 3 full days in Bermuda. And I tell them no, because there is so much to do in Bermuda. And I will go over it quickly here, but the nicest beaches in the world, famous for their pink sand. Horseshoe Bay Beach. I'm personally not a beach guy. I can go for an hour and a half maximum, but when I'm at Horseshoe Bay, I could spend the entire day there. The pink sand, the white beaches, the crystal clear waters, it is stunning. So you're going to want to visit Horseshoe Bay Beach. Elbow Beach is also very famous. You could beach hop in Bermuda very easily because it's a very clean island. It's extremely safe. It's very rich, to be honest. And the people are extremely kind. So if ever you get lost, people will race to help you and guide you in the right direction with a smile on their face. And there's a lot of culture in Bermuda too. And one thing I find you might find funny if you didn't know, the traditional uniform for men in Bermuda is, of course, Bermuda shorts. So it's not rare to see people going to work wearing a blazer, a tie, Bermuda shorts instead of pants, and long socks that go all the way to their knees. So that's the traditional uniform in Bermuda. And I think it's really interesting when you walk around the streets and you see the European influence, the British influence, and that uniform. So people are very nice and it's extremely safe to walk around. And one thing you should note is that you can purchase a 3-day pass that will provide you with unlimited ferries, buses. So you can get from Horseshoe Bay Beach to the underground caves that you see on your screen. So those are called Crystal and Fantasy Caves. They are absolutely stunning. You would never think that there were deep caves like that in the middle of the Atlantic, because Bermuda is not in the Caribbean. It's really in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. So stunning caves you could visit as well. And of course, the town of Hamilton that is extremely colorful. The picture you see on the left hand is Front Street. So in the summer, there's always a festival on Front Street, and they do it purposely when the cruise ships are there. Because there's more tourists. So it's always nice to sit on a patio and enjoy the festival. There's also St. George that you see on the right hand. So a very charming town as well. You could easily go there. You can rent a scooter, an electric car. You could do tons of excursions with NCL. We also have golf excursions. If you're a golfer, it's the paradise for golfers. So that's another excursion idea with NCL. We have snorkeling excursions. We also have a night cruise called the Bermuda Triangle Cruise. And that's a myth, by the way. There is no danger in the Bermuda Triangle, but we do have a Bermuda Triangle night cruise. So definitely a spectacular idea while you're in Bermuda. So those were the destinations for the AQUA. I want to give you a quick overview about our destinations in general. And I say quick because we could spend hours talking about this. Of course, the professional advisors at Vacations for Canadians could help you more in detail based on your needs, your wants. But this is an overview of where we are in the world. We truly are everywhere, every single continent. To give you, some of the personal favorites, we're well known at NCL for our Hawaii cruises because there's only one ship in the world that has an American license that is authorized to do round trip Honolulu cruises. So why is that interesting for you? Because normally Hawaii cruises would leave from California and you spend a few days just to get to your destination. We leave directly from Honolulu, round trip. So you can spend 2 days, a week in Honolulu prior to your cruise, and then you visit all 4 main islands on your cruise in all-inclusive fashion. And that's important because there are no all-inclusives in Hawaii for government reasons, for legal reasons. But when you cruise with NCL, that's your all-inclusive resort. So Hawaii is a very expensive destination usually, just the hotels, the 3 or 4 meals a day, the beverages, the taxis. Well, now NCL does it all for you. The ship is your floating hotel that brings you from one island to the next. You have your all-inclusive packages, and you don't waste time getting there with days at sea. So it's an extensive Hawaii cruise. You have a stop every single day, and that includes 2 overnights. You have one overnight in Maui and another one in Kauai. So you spend 2 days in those destinations, really allowing you to immerse yourself in the wonderful Hawaiian culture. So that's a personal favorite. If you're into something even more exotic, you could combine it with French Polynesia. I was lucky enough to do that one in 2022. So you would visit not only Hawaii, but also Bora Bora, Moorea, Raiatea in French Polynesia. So that's absolutely incredible. Speaking of exotic, the other end of the world, you could do a cruise from the Mauritius and visit the Seychelles, Madagascar, Reunion Island, Cape Town. There are some that go to Tanzania, to Kenya. So the possibilities are endless. You could do Norway, so the Norwegian fjords, Iceland. Of course, we're all over the Caribbean, all over Europe. So you get the message. We're really everywhere. And I would encourage you to speak with your Vacations for Canadians advisor, depending on where you want to go, your bucket list. And you can always browse ncl.com, but make sure you do book with Vacations for Canadians because they have advantageous prices, and we're going to get to that in a couple of minutes. I do want to share a few words about our staterooms, and I'm not going to go over interior staterooms, ocean views, balconies. Those are standard amongst across all cruise lines. It's the basic interior. You don't get the window, ocean view. You have nice ocean views, and the balcony. You get to enjoy your glass of wine on the balcony with sunset views. But there are 2 staterooms that are really unique to Norwegian, and one of them is the Haven. So those are luxurious penthouses, and you are a true VIP from start to finish. So it includes a private butler that can help you with literally everything, whether it's packing, unpacking your luggage, bringing you your sparkling wine and your chocolate-covered strawberries, helping you with anything you might need in the room. We also provide you with concierge service who can help you with your dining room reservations, your excursion reservations. You have your own private elevator to get there, priority access, your own patio, which is called the Sun Deck. It's a huge patio, with a pool, the Haven Bar and Lounge as well. So the way it works is that the Haven is an entire section with several penthouses, and nobody has access to you because you need a private key card to get in. But guess what? You have access to the rest of the ship. So that's why I like to say that it's the best of both worlds, because a lot of times if you're looking for a very luxurious vacation, you might think of river cruising, you might think it's your only option, or perhaps some of the more the smaller cruise lines that are ultra luxurious. But the reality is, while they're amazing products, they're truly amazing products, but you're not going there for entertainment. And at times you might want some entertainment options. And that's why the Haven with Norwegian is a great option. And it gives you the best of both worlds, because when you want that level of luxury, if not more, you get to go to your exclusive oasis in the Haven and have your peace and tranquility. But if you want to have fun, you can exit the Haven and head to the casino, the theater, the comedy clubs, the several bars and lounges on board. And on some ships, we have over 20. So that's why it's the best of both worlds. And I'd like you to think of Norwegian the next time you're celebrating a special occasion and you want that very special vacation. The other special stateroom is the studios. So if we have solo travelers watching us this evening, or perhaps you have friends that are solo travelers, sometimes you're traveling as a group and you're trying to convince your friends to join you, and solo travelers would like to, but back in the days, it was too expensive because you always pay double the price. Well, the good news is that NCL in the around 2010 introduced the studio staterooms, allowing you to stay alone in your room without paying 200% of the price. So those rooms are, yes, smaller, but it doesn't feel like it because you're alone in the room and the storage space is very optimal. There's tons of storage space, whether it's in the stateroom itself or in the bathroom. Uh, so not only do you have your own room, you don't pay 200% of the price, but it also comes with exclusive perks. You see the picture at the bottom? That's a private lounge that you will have access to with a private key card. And not only will there be specialty coffees, there will be treats and desserts, but also optional activities for solo travelers. So whether you're there for to make friends or to meet new people, it's a very easy way to travel and to travel safely. Sometimes, we have groups of ladies who want to travel in safety, and cruises are always extremely safe. But imagine being in a studio stateroom where you can only enter it with a private key card, and everybody in that section is in the same situation. They're traveling alone. They're possibly looking to make friends. So it's a great, great way and fun way to travel with Norwegian Cruise Line. So another option if you're traveling as a solo or if you have solo friends as well. I want to talk to you about an exclusive promotion. And it's not the only one we're going to present you with this evening, because we want to reward you for being here this evening or for watching the replay perhaps. So we have something at NCL called Cruise First. The easiest and simplest way to explain it to you is that it's like a gift card. But to do an analogy with a local store, for example, if you go to a local store and you purchase a $50 gift card, we agree that it will cost $50, right? It's always dollar for dollar. With NCL, we double your money. And I know it might sound too good to be true. I thought so as well when it was introduced, but I confirmed that I've used it several times. Family members have used it and friends. It's something you do not want to miss. So when you pay $150, you get $300. We double your money. What can you do with that money? It's not an onboard credit. You can't go to the spa or buy an excursion. It's really to book a new cruise. So it's like a gift card. You purchase it online and then you call Vacations for Canadians. They're used to it. They know they're true experts of NCL. They will know how to apply to your cruise. So it only costs you $150. You get $300 back and you can apply it as a deposit. So not only did you double your money, but it's also a reduced deposit, because a lot of times we have deposits that are costlier than 300. It could be 350, it can be 500, and so on. But when you have a Cruise First, it will always satisfy the entire deposit. So all you have to do is buy it, cost you 150, and it will cover your entire deposit. So to put things into context, if you booked a 2026 cruise, you apply a Cruise First on it, it only costs you 150. You don't have another penny to put down until 4 months prior to departure, so late 2025. So that's why it's such a great promotion, and it would be crazy to book an NCL cruise without applying a Cruise First. The only terms and conditions you want to know is that it doesn't work for last-minute departures. The cruise has to be 4 months out or more. So as long as it's in 120 days or more, you can buy a Cruise First and apply it. Another great news, there's no expiry date. There used to be a 3-year expiry date. It is no longer the case. So if you buy it today, you get to enjoy it in the future. You don't have to make a decision right now. So that's also great. And they are transferable. So if your plans change and you can't cruise for whatever reason, you don't feel like it, you can transfer it to whoever you'd like. It's simple enough to do so. So it's super flexible and it's free money falling from the sky. So I didn't want to give you that opportunity this evening to purchase a Cruise First. You can buy it on ncl.com, or you can ask your Vacations for Canadians advisor to buy it for you, and they will be happy to do so. So a great promotion that we have at NCL. Before I give you another great offer that we have exclusively for you attending this evening, I want to spend a minute to talk to you about the perks of booking with Vacations for Canadians. We can start with the obvious. Of course, you have peace of mind. You have expert advice, because every advisor at Vacations for Canadians, not only are they certified with the government, not only do they complete trainings with every supplier, whether it's cruise lines and more, but they traveled a lot in their lifetime, all of them. And they came back with anecdotes, with notes for you to better advise you on your vacations. And they truly are doing it with passion and love for what they do. So you are truly in great hands with Vacations for Canadians, and you will save time and money because there's a lot of research involved when traveling, but you will save all that time and money. I'll get to that in a second. Personalized service, of course, because you will share your needs with them, and they know what is good for you. They have all types of clients, and they know just by speaking with you for a few minutes, they will know what product, what ship, what cruise line, what itinerary is perfect for you. And that's the thing about cruising. It is more complicated than an all-inclusive resort. So that's why you need an advisor, even if you're an expert, even if you've cruised 50 times, the financial benefits that we'll cover in a second, that alone is worth it. But also, not only are every cruise lines different, every ship is different. So they will help you guide you through it. And every category, not only are there stateroom categories, there are subcategories. So they will help you with that as well. And my favorite one, group perks. So Vacation for Canadians is very proactive with us at NCL. And they open groups long time in advance on board our ships. And what does that mean? So basically, sometimes 2 years or more in advance, they will open group space. So group allotments, several cabins on board, several itineraries. So what happens is that they lock in a price, and we all know there's inflation these days. So with time, the rate of the day really increases, but Vacations for Canadians will always have that frozen rate. And that's to your advantage, of course, because you will be booking that vacation. And sometimes we see savings of $1,000 per person. It can be quite significant because not only is there inflation, but with time, ships get filled. So of course, as there's less staterooms available and the demand is so strong these days, the law of supply and demand, of course, the rates will increase. So the advantage of dealing with Vacations for Canadians is that you have access to the initial rates. And on top of that, when you book into a group with Vacations for Canadians, they will get you special gifts like $100 US onboard credit. So you can use that credit to buy an excursion, to get yourself a massage, to put it towards a watch you want to buy on board, or for the gentlemen that are watching us, perhaps you want to get something for your loved one. So really, the possibilities are endless. But when you book into a group, you're going to save money, you're going to save time, and you're going to get extra gifts. And I got to say, Vacations for Canadians has tons of them with us. They are super proactive. So that's why you want to pick your agency like Vacations for Canadians that are true experts of cruising. Because sometimes we see deals online, whether it's ncl.com or other agencies, but keep in mind, you don't get the group rates that you would with Vacations for Canadians. And you don't get the personalized service and advice. So that's why it's worth supporting a local family business like Vacations for Canadians. Now, I was talking about special perks. For everybody viewing this webinar, we want to thank you for spending your time with us. So for the next a little bit over 7 days, so until May 10th, if you reserve an NCL cruise with Vacations for Canadians, we're going to give you an additional specialty dinner for two for free. So you remember at the beginning of the presentation, I mentioned that you always get between 1 and 3 free specialty dinners with the promotions. Well, now we're going to give you an additional one if you book before May 10th. So that's a big value. As you know, if you dine out in Toronto or in Montreal, these days for two people, it can go up to $180, $200 without mentioning that on NCL, it includes your glasses of wine, all inclusive. So we're going to give you an additional specialty dinner for two. And we're also going to give you a 12 water bottle package, 1 liter water bottles. And this is extremely popular because you don't have to go to the buffet or go to a bar to get your water before bedtime. You're going to have 12 large water bottles in your room in the comfort of your stateroom. So on top of that, you remember I spoke about the group perks with Vacations for Canadians? You're going to get that $100 US onboard credit per cabin if you book into a group with Vacations for Canadians. So I would encourage you to ask them if it's a group space, because if they don't have a group space for your specific sailing, it's possible you won't have that onboard credit. but it's worth asking him the question, and they will always find the best for you. And if you combine that with Cruise First, you remember we spoke about Cruise First a couple of minutes ago, you will save $150 instantly. So the strategy I would have for you, because yes, I'm the sales manager for NCL, but before everything, I'm a client as well. I travel just like you do. I shop my cruises as well. So if I would give you my personal friendly advice, I would tell you combine all this together. If you book your cruise before May 10th, you will get that specialty dinner for two, the 12 water bottle package, $100 onboard spending credit if you're booking into a group, and with Cruise First, $150 of savings. So all of that together, huge value. And that's without mentioning the beverage package, specialty dinners, internet, short excursion credits that we give you. A lot of value with NCL. And also, I do want to say, when we mention group spaces, it doesn't mean yet that you're traveling as a group, a guided cruise. All it means is that on paper, it's a group. So you're benefiting from the discounts, from the extra gifts. But once you're on board, you're free to do what you want when you want. So it's only on paper, but you have the freedom to enjoy it the way you want. So that concludes it for me for now, because I know we're going to take a few questions as well, but I'd like to welcome back Teena on board the webinar.
Thanks, Marc-Antoine. I just want to clarify, so the water and the specialty dining, that's regardless of whether it's in a group or not. Yes, okay, good. And then
Absolutely.
the extra $100, we put it on every group that we have. And I just want to say, I just looked up our group space right now, because we take our group space very seriously at Vacations for Canadians. We have 115 groups with Norwegian right now. So just contact us. We try and grab a bit of everything, and our groups go right up until 2026. So you just need to contact us, or even check out our website. We have it on our website, what group space we have, and our savings are fantastic. So definitely reach out for that. But anyways, I want to put it out there to see if anybody has any questions. You can unmute yourself, or you can type it in the chat. No questions?
It can be about anything. For
Yeah.
sure, if it's related to fares, we usually recommend that you reach out to Vacations for Canadians so that they can get you a quote. But if you have something in general, whether it's about destinations, about the experience on board, feel free to ask. I see there are questions coming in. So if there is a theme party, Glow 80s, can you find out in advance? So you can't find out in advance, but I can tell you that they will be on every single cruise. It always depends, sometimes there can be changes due to weather. Sometimes different cruise directors can make different decisions in terms of programming, but the Glow party is on every single cruise. And then what can differ is like the 80s party, 90s party, that depends on the programming. But we will also always have the sail away party. So on day one, it's a nice celebration. Everybody's is in vacation mode. So you're celebrating the departure from the port. So you can't find them out in advance, unfortunately, because they're so subject to change. That's the reason why. But I can guarantee you that you will have quite a few of them on your cruise. So thank you for your question, Heather. Oh, wow. Mary saying that she booked this Tuesday. Can we apply the special? I'll make an exception for everybody on this webinar. We'll apply it. Thank you for your booking, for your trust, and congratulations. That's a wonderful cruise, 16 days. So Teena, if you don't mind sending me her booking number,
Yep.
I will add it.
Okay.
And it's never automatic, so I will be in touch with you, Teena, for the entire list at the end of the booking period. But
Okay.
definitely, Mary, I will add it to yours.
Okay.
So is there a Spice H2O? So no, that was on the prior class. There's no Spice H2O on the Viva, Mark. So I know it's a beautiful venue, but so I did the Viva, and the way a bit similar to Spice H2O, where they did the the evening events, the theme parties, just like H2O, it was at the main pool. So they took place there instead of Spice H2O. The Viva is a bit of a different ship where there's no major atrium neither. It's much more of compacted, destination kind of ship. So all the lounges you'll find throughout the ship is more of a destination. You have to get there to see it. It's not like the traditional cruise ships where you have the main atrium and the life of the party is there. It's really different lounges that are closed up, but it really gives a nice intimate atmosphere. So that's how I would say the Viva and the Prima are different. I see Deb Holland saying we booked already.
So, okay. Not sure if it was through VCO. Okay, so yeah, you have to find out, I guess, Deb. Reach out to us and we'll definitely take a look at that. I guess ask maybe your brother-in-law how they booked it to see.
Yeah, I would recommend that. Let's see. Can you get the 150 converted to 300 credits anytime, or is there a deadline? So, great question, Vicky. The Cruise First promotion is available at all times. Until further notice, it really is available at all times. What does have a deadline is the additional specialty dinner we're giving away for clients of Vacations for Canadians and the 12th water bottle package. So that has to be booked before May 10th. But Cruise First, you could get it later and contact Vacations for Canadians and still apply it. So if you want to get the best promotion possible before May 10th is definitely a great idea. But if you want to book later, there's no problem. You can still get the Cruise First promo.
Mark, I have a quick question. So when you say before May 10th, do you mean by May 9th or May 10th?
So by May 10th, let's
By
say
May
May
10th.
9th at 11:59 p.m.
Sorry, say that again. What did you just say?
So May 9th at 11:59
Got
p.m.
it. Okay.
would
So it's
be yeah.
okay. All right. I think there was more questions. We reviewed the
Yes.
AQUA's itineraries. Can you share Prima and Viva's?
Yes, so typically the Prima and the Viva will head to Europe during the summer, and then in the winter, that's when we bring them out. We bring them back to the warm. So, for example, we have the Prima doing cruises from Galveston, Texas, visiting Harvest Caye, Cozumel, Roatan. The Viva will do stunning cruises from San Juan, Puerto Rico. If you want a cruise that really is port intensive with a stop every day, why not leave from San Juan on the Viva? So the advantage of that is that you really start in the heart of the Caribbean. Instead of leaving from Miami or New York, you start in San Juan, and you're going to visit stunning islands like Tortola, St. John's, Antigua, Bridgetown, Barbados, St. Lucia, St. Martin, St. Thomas. So that's another good one. The Prima also does Bermuda. So just like we discussed on the AQUA, the Prima also does it. It's personally one of my favorites from New York on the Prima. And what's cool about the Bermuda cruise is that you also get days at sea. And on a ship like the Prima and the Viva, days at sea are very welcomed because they're such stunning ships. So you get to really discover them. So those are like a nice recap of the Caribbean cruises on those two ships. Prima also does a longer cruise from New York, 11 days, going to Puerto Plata, San Juan, St. Kitts, St. Thomas, Tortola. So that's another option. But if you call vacations for Canadians, they'll get you the full list. But that is a nice general idea to give you an overall idea of what we do in the Caribbean.
Okay. Matthew, do you already have a group scheduled for summer 2025 destination Hawaii? So Matthew, if you go onto our website, vacationsforcanadians.com, and go to deals, exclusive rates, Norwegian cruises, you'll be able to see all of our groups on that page, or you can reach out to us. And we're happy to provide our list of our group space for you.
I
Where do
see
you
Mark is asking. Oh, sorry, Teena.
No, I was just gonna say, actually, yeah, I think I just answered Nicole's question. Where do we see Caribbean in group space? I don't find it. Oh, where do we see Caribbean in the group spaces? So again, if you go to our exclusive rates web page on Vacations for Canadians, you should be able to just type in under itinerary Caribbean and it will pull up all of our Caribbean itineraries.
I'm just scrolling down. I think the next question is from Mark. For Vibe Beach Club, are the day passes only available if space allows? So yes, the passes that are for the entire cruise, those can be purchased in advance online on your ncl.com profile. That's for the entire cruise. But for day passes, they're only available on board. And I do recommend to go on day one to try and get your space before they sell out, because those are harder to get, considering they're only available on board. So it is only if space allows. But great question, Mark.
Okay, and I'm going to go back to Deb Holland. Deb, I just did a search for your name and I don't see it anywhere, so I'm assuming it wasn't booked through us, but if they booked, I believe it's within 15 days, we can get it transferred over to our agency. So you can get in touch with us at sales@vacationsforcanadians.com, or if you go on our website, there's we'll also have our agents, all their email listed, our phone number, or you can actually do a chat right through our website.
And I see some questions about active bookings, if they can get the promo. So it's an exception we can make only if the booking was made through Vacations for Canadians, because the way the system is made, it's a promo that is affiliated to the agency. It's the only way we can apply it. So normally we really have to respect the promotion dates, because otherwise it would never end, as you know. I'm making an exception for those viewing the webinar if you're already booked, but it does have to be through Vacations for Canadians because of system limitations. So it's a nice exception we're making, but we do ask that it has to be made through Vacations for Canadians.
Okay, did we get through the questions? I think we did. All right. Well, Marc-Antoine, thank you so much for joining us tonight. That was fantastic. I am dying to get back on a Norwegian ship. I think the last one that I was on, the PRIMA, and that was just way too short, way too quick. I'd love to try the VIVA or the AQUA.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I just wanted to say we're looking forward to having you again. I thought you were going to say it was,
for sure.
Yeah, at least the PRIMA was quite recent. I'm happy to hear you saw the PRIMA, but we'd like to have every single one of you on board our ships, and it would be very nice to see you on board. But Teena, sorry, I think I accidentally cut you off, so I'll let you continue.
No worries. Actually,
have
Matt
one-
just quickly asked if a cruise first could be transferred more than once.
So it's only once. Great question. It's only once. So I would recommend to be careful with it if ever you're unsure. But most of the time what happens is that if somebody purchased one and you want to transfer it, try to make sure that you transfer it to somebody who is sure about cruising so that it's not wasted.
This question looks like it come from me, but it didn't. So the extended promo is to those watching, anyone watching, right? I believe it's doesn't matter if they watch tomorrow on the recorded webinar. This promotion is for anybody that watches this webinar.
Yes, it's for everybody watching it, even as a replay, because even if they watch it tomorrow, we assume they got to the end of it where the incentive was. So we do want to thank them for that.
Nicole, I think, did you want to say something?
Yes, I just had the Bermuda of 3 days at port. Sounds wonderful. I'm just wondering, in 2025 or 2026 in the winter, anytime after December, do you have dates for that in particular?
I don't know for sure. Like I said, we've got over 115 sailings, so you're going to want to either get on our website or
Check
just give us
again.
a quick email. Just give us an email
Okay,
at sales@vacationsforcanadians.com, and we're happy to help you. Yep.
Okay.
But the only thing I do want to add to that, the thing about Bermuda is that the high season starts especially in April. So in the springtime and then the entire summer and the fall. Because of its location in the North Atlantic, it's less of a winter destination. Although we do have cruises that will stop there for 1 day in the winter, but the 3-day stays in Bermuda, they're mostly as of April up until the fall. And the cool thing about Bermuda is that the weather is very comfortable. Even in the summer when it reaches 28, 30 degrees, it's a very comfortable 28, 30 degrees. And when you go in April, which I did last time I went, it was 24, 23 degrees, but it wasn't chilly at all. It was a very comfortable, nice and sunny. So it's beautiful year long, and you'll definitely get to enjoy the nice beaches there. But yes, I did want to mention that it's mostly a spring, summer, and fall destination.
I usually tell people to think along the lines of North Carolina for the weather.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. It's parallel to North Carolina, so that's a great way to put it.
Yeah, yeah. So it's very comfortable all year long. Never gets really too hot or really too cold, to be honest. But spring or fall is really a fantastic time to go to Bermuda. Okay, well, I think we're gonna close this off because there is a Leafs game on right now that I need to go watch.
Teena from Montreal, eh? So, but I'm still cheering for the Leafs. It's a Canadian team.
Hey, I'm gonna cheer for all the Canadian teams, right? Montreal's
That's
not
the
in,
spirit.
so
That's the spirit. We might be in trouble next round because Edmonton could face Vancouver, but
yes, yes, and I don't know who I'm gonna cheer for at that point, but go Canada.
yes, and best of luck this evening with the Leafs.
Thank you. All right, everybody, thank you so much for joining us. And like I said, please reach out and we're happy to help you. All right, bye
Have a
for now, everybody.
wonderful evening, everyone. Thank you so much. We truly appreciate you.
Bye.
Bye.